Howdy everyone, this is LockNutz, and you're watching a map tour of the Hills of Slovenia by WhiteBull Modding. Hopefully you'll stick around to see what happens. Howdy, how are you guys doing today? Oh my goodness, I tell you what, today we get to do a map tour of the Hills of Slovenia by WhiteBull Modding. This little bad mamma jamma is 77.81 megabytes to download and is currently only for PC. Time will tell, we will see. Oh man, not too shabby at all. Before we go ahead and get ourselves too far down the rabbit hole, there's a couple things I want to go over here real quick. One, we are starting this off in new farmer mode just so that you know what you'd end up starting off with if you did start off on new farmer mode. When you do start from scratch, you start off with $500,000, farm manager 1.5 million, and new farmer mode you start off in with $100,000. Ooh. When you start off on farm manager mode and start from scratch, you do start off with all of this equipment that's on here. We'll go over that in just a little bit. And when you start off in those two modes right there, the only building that will show up on this main farm is just this one, and that's it. Nothing else is here. All these things are just sitting out in the open, so that's kind of what you'll expect building wise and whatnot wise going forward. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and take just 1 second here and read what the map maker has to say. The Hills of Slovenia is a middle-sized Slovenian map. All the objects on the farm are redone with new textures. The map contains one main farm that has cow, sheep, and pig facilities. There are 44 fields that are small and irregular shapes. This map is filled with hills to simulate the reality of the Slovenia countryside. On this map, you have a special made store with lots of different selling points. There is also a forestry area for forestry work. It has a main road which goes through the town, and there are lots of other small roads that lead into the hard, accessible grasslands and fields. Not too shabby, and I tell you what, that is very, very accurate about what's going on here. As we get through here and we go on a little tour, you will see that this is a very hilly and challenging map. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and see what you would start off with, equipment-wise, in new farmer mode. And this is the fleet you would end up starting off with if you started off on new farmer mode. You start off with one tiny little Zeter here to go ahead and do your little odds and ends. To top that off, you start off with a John Deere and a Massey Ferguson. That's a nice 1-2 punch. You do start off with the top liner harvester and the Dutzfar top liner grain header, and there is no grain trailer, I should say header trailer, so you'll have to get that for yourself later on. You do start off with one lizard pickup red, and she is a Butte. You do start off with one trailer, one Pottinger plow, two headers. You start off with two harrows, power harrows, a seeder, one Farm Tech manure spreader, one Kuhn mower, a Pottinger tedder, a SIP windrower, one Pottinger forage wagon, and to top everything off, you start off with one Silo King silage mixer. So that's what you got going on here. It's a nice little fleet of things. It doesn't have everything you need that you would see on a lot of different startups, but you know what? It's kind of nice because it doesn't give you everything right off the bat. It makes you work for some of the stuff that you need. Now that we've gone ahead and looked at that, let's go ahead and look at the map to see what we got over there. Alrighty then, so this is the map, and that's exactly what they were saying here. There are several small fields on here, all very irregular shaped. They're kind of square-ish, but as we go around and take a look at these things, you'll see that they really aren't all that regular. Like I said here, when you start off in new farmer mode, you have all of this stuff right here. If you don't, all of this stuff is gone. It's just not there, so you'd have to end up working for it. Like I said, you do have all this stuff nice and neat in here. Now, a couple things we'll go over here really quick. You might be taking a look at all these different colored lines on here. Well, these are the roads. The blue roads are a 2-laned paved road. The orange ones are a single-lane paved road. The yellow ones are kind of like a rutted out track where you've driven on a bunch of times. And these little purple ones in the forestry areas, they're really not even roads at all. They're more or less organized paths, I guess is the best way to look at it. So when you're going ahead and taking a look at the map, kind of keep that in mind. But what do you start off with on New Farmer Mode for farmland? You start off this one starting plot right here. It comes along with 2 fields, and that's one thing we'll take a look at when we're seeing this. There is some field grouping that goes on here. But this is what you do start off, and it has a value of $113,000. Now, when you come on here and you take a look at what is the most expensive field on the map, it's 31 over here. It's a pretty darn big one, and you might be telling yourself $200,000. Well, that's not really all that much for the most expensive one. On this map, it is. You're not going to make a ton of money off of all these fields unless you probably do cotton on all of them. And that's pretty much it. It's going to take a lot of beating away to get to that point where you just take out a loan. I guess that's the other side of it. Now, the least expensive field here is field 37, this little guy at $25,000. Not too shabby at all. There are these forestry areas, like I was telling you, 150,000 roughly, 31,000. 55. This is part of like this conglomeration right here. 70. So I mean, there are some things over here, and including this whole exterior of the map for one whopping $999,999,999, which of course we all have lying around. So you got that to go for. That's a nice ambitious goal to have, but I mean, other than that, you know, you take a look at these prices, like I said, they're all fairly reasonable. They're all fairly cheap. They're not too shabby price-wise. For the most part here, anything you get, you're going to be able to afford right off the bat. You can probably even go about, can't buy field 27. We'll look into that a little later on. But for the most part, you really just can't go wrong. Everything's really a value. Like I said, this is going to be your most expensive one, but you'll have to plan and strategize to get that. So with that being said, let's take a little tour around the map. Alright guys, so one thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn the map on the corner just so you guys can follow along with me as we go ahead and take a little walk around. Now let's go ahead and just take a quick little walk around the main farm here really quick. Over here you do have a nice little pasture. What do we got in here? This is the pig barn. So you got your pig barn in here. Kind of nice how it looks here. It's not your standard pig barn, and I think that's the part that I kind of like about that one the most. What I really like is I like this hay loft here. This is super, super cool. I really like that. I like how that's up there. I have not tested it, but what I would find to be really, really cool is if when you come up here and you offload your hay, which you can't get in there, if you offload your hay, it actually will stack up there. I don't know. I'd have to do some investigating to see if that's what it's like. But even if it doesn't, I really like that. I think it's nicer than the standard what you see in game. Now here is your house. You have a nice little backyard. I'm not sure what you can really do with that. You do have your house right in here. It is not very furnished or anything. Might be a bachelor, not really sure. Oh man, coming on over here, I believe this is your cows that you're going to be looking at right over here. Yep, your cow barn, not too shabby, not too shabby. Again, it's got a nice little spot up there. It'd be nice if we can get up there and do a little storing and whatnot. I don't know, maybe you can, maybe you can't. Not sure how that all works. Coming on over here, you got your chickens, not too shabby. And then over here, oh, that's a chicken spot as well. Coming on in here, you have your sheep barn. So, to be honest with you guys, not a lot of storage on this one. You have this nice little spot right over here, and you have this area right there. Other than that, storage-wise, there's not much of anything on here. But this plot that you start off with is a little bit bigger, so you might be able to throw something on there if you really wanted to. But that's entirely up to you. So I guess at this point here, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into this bad mamma jamma. And I think what we're going to kind of do is go in a clockwise fashion and take a little look-see around to see what we actually have to offer here. One of the things I'm going to give you guys fair warning here is that one thing I like to do is I like to drive through the fields. Now, it's not to go ahead and irritate people. That I can guarantee. It's not for that. It's to be able to show you a little bit better what the fields actually look like, what the lay of the land actually looks like. And this is, from what I'm seeing, you're going to need power. Lots of power. I mean, you got hills, you got undulations, you got all sorts of stuff going on here. You really need to up your game when it comes to horsepower. Now, let's get out of this little area over here. As you can see, you do have some of these skinny roads coming through here. Not too shabby. We'll hop on this main road here for just a second. I do want to take us into one of these forestry areas here, because this is going to be something that's important for you forestry buffs, is that it's hilly. It's not undulated in the way that you have bumps and bruises and nicks, and it's almost unnavigable. But you do have hills, so when you guys are out here, you're going to probably have to figure out a way. Maybe you cut your trees down right here, you drag them down where you can kind of barricade them up somewhere. Stacking trees or limbs or logs, however you want to look at it, in this area is not going to be very easy at all. And because of the, well, we'll call them narrow roads that are here, it's going to be, well, we'll just send it. We'll send it. All right. Well, that's good right there. As you can see, you got a narrow path to get up there. That's what I was just going to try and get at. You're really going to have to look at how you can get your trailers and everything in there. You may not be able to get the biggest thing possible. You're probably going to end up having to get some smaller equipment to get up and around and back and through there. Now, as you can see, this field right here isn't too bad, and there's a lot of this space that's in between. So if we come in here really quick, you take a look at where I'm at right now, you have all of this space right here. All of this space off to the side, all of the space up above. You could very easily make much larger fields out of this, just because of the extra space that does come along with virtually everything. So even though all these fields are small, you have all of this workable land over here that you could join fields together, make one large field. Holy cats. That is awesome. That is an excitingly sketchy and scary looking field over there. Gosh, it got me all out of sorts there. Wow, that's neat. That is really neat. Yeah, so you are definitely going to have to take a look and see it, everything you're doing. Definitely want to go ahead and look at your fields before you go ahead and purchase them. Looking at them on the map only gets you so far. It really does not do justice for what is really out here and what you have the capability of buying. Depending on your equipment, you know, horsepower-wise, maybe you got something that would possibly work, like a plow that's 100 horsepower, and you have a 100 horsepower tractor. You're going to struggle. There's going to be struggle. There's going to be a big hurt fest put on you if that's what you got to deal with. So, oh man, I tell you what, it's not too shabby. This map so far, from what I'm seeing, is definitely going to give you some challenges, and that's for sure. One thing I'm going to do here really quick is hop on out of here, and I'm going to go ahead and reset this vehicle really quick. There we go, reset. Oh, I got to click on it again, missed it. There it is. Reset the vehicle, yes. Okay, and here is where it goes ahead and resets your vehicle. It'd be nice if some of these maps had like a little gate to get it through. So when you went the wrong way and get trapped on the other side, you wouldn't have to walk all the way around. But this is where you're going to go ahead, and anything that you buy is going to pop up right over here too. along with your vehicle resetting. So just kind of keep that in mind as you go ahead and you purchase items. This is where they'll end up showing up. Let's keep on with our little tour here really quick. And let's go this way into the town a little bit and drive on the road here for just a second, so that when you do buy equipment, you'll kind of see how you can get out of here. The traffic isn't bad, it's not terrible, it's not going super fast, it's not going slow though, so you're definitely going to want to kind of keep your mind open and your eyes open when you're going ahead and doing this stuff. I really do like how you have these fields that they come up right by the house and use pretty much all the usable space. That's pretty darn slick. And over here we do have some more forestry areas, which this one here does have a neat little landscape over here. It's almost like they had a forestry little thing set up, a nice little who's and what's going on here. It's pretty darn slick if you ask me. And as you can see, pretty darn steep as well. So you'll definitely want to kind of keep your eyes open where you're driving around in here. I know I would probably put something down in there and get stuck. That is definitely for sure. So like I said, keep your eyes open on what you're doing, especially if you're coming through there. You don't want to dump a load. That'd be absolutely horrible. We're going to take a quick little peek over here so we can see what's going on out on the largest field that's available to you. And even still, with this largest field that's available to you, you still probably could go ahead and scoop up that guy, and you still have all of this extra land down here where you can go ahead, if you want to even start your own farm, there's enough area for a yard and all sorts of stuff right here. So that's pretty darn slick if you ask me. Pretty darn slick. I do kind of like this. I know it talks about there being only one farm to start off with, but I'll be 100% honest with you guys. The way that this is set up, it's actually set up in a way that you could potentially start a farm on any plot of land. I mean, look at that incline that you got right there. That's intense. That is super, super intense. Oh, man. Well, we've pretty much kind of gone around the entire thing. If you guys will, I think it's time that we put on our Mary Poppins hats and fly up into the sky and take a look and see what's going on from up above. Alright guys, here we are ready to go, and let's go up into the sky. Oh man, super cool here, super cool here. I wanted to come out here and take a look at this right here. Take a look at this little island, see what's out here. It's kind of neat. It looks like there's a little isolated church that's out there. I'm not sure how you could get out there, maybe just swimming or anything like that. But looking at this, there are far more trees out here than you get credit for. Or I should say than there is credit for. And remember, all of this land on the exterior is all purchasable. All of that out there, obviously it's an insane amount of money, but you do have that capability. So here's here's a look at that church that's out here. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Enough detail on this thing where you look from over here and it looks super cool. Like there's a church out on an island just calling you over and saying, hey, come take a look at me. Oh, man. Oh, I was stuck on some land. What's going on here? There we go. Let's come over here. Uh-oh, I think I might have gone over a boundary here for a second. There we go. There's a boundary right there, so be careful. If you ever come out here, be careful. It looks like there's a boundary over there, but there isn't one right here. Let's continue on as we come on over here and take a look at this. Coming up really, really high. It is pretty neat looking from up above, where you got all these irregular shaped fields, all these little bits and pieces that are all over the place. And as we come down, you can really get a good view of the undulations that are all over here. The bumps, the bruises, the nicks, the cuts. Oh man, that looks intense over there. That area right there, that looks scary. I'm not gonna lie, I feel intimidated by that little lump over there. It's pretty darn slick. Oh man, I tell you what, I'd like you guys to comment down below. Let me know what you think of this map. What would you want to start off with if you started off on this map? Do you want to do animals? Do you want to do arable crops? Do you want to do forestry on this map? What would you guys want to do on this one? Myself, personally, I think I'd like to try and tackle some of my fears and attack some of these little bumps and bruises over here. Oh, man. I tell you what, WhiteBull Modding, great modded map. I absolutely love this thing. It's super neat. But you guys don't have to take my word for it. Go ahead, download this one for yourselves. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. And I tell you what, it just looks absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Hats off. Hats off. But if you guys are liking what you're seeing, liking what you're hearing, go ahead and smash that like button. Do what you can to help the channel out. And hit that subscription. Turn the notification bell on. And have it set to all. That way you know when this and other great videos are coming out. Guys, share this with somebody that you know from Slovenia. Or somebody who likes these scary hills, because it intimidates the heck out of me. Oh, I tell you what, guys, I tell you what, this looks like a great one. Until we see each other again, thanks for stopping by.